Listen carefully. This is not just another horror movie. This is a film that truly scared people badly. It was filmed in one of the 3 most haunted houses in Kuala Lumpur. As soon as it was released, it was called the scariest movie of that year. And the most shocking part, it is based on a true story. So tag that friend who loves horror movies, because this story will give them chills. The story begins with a girl named Yusin and her family. Her neighbor, Wen Sao, had been worshipping a strange spirit doll for many years. This doll was believed to contain the spirit of a child, but one day, things went wrong. The spirit she worshipped turned against her. Strange and terrifying events started happening in her house. Out of fear, they called a monk to perform a ritual. As the monk kept chanting prayers, Wen Sao's body began shaking uncontrollably. She started talking nonsense. Sometimes she screamed loudly in pain. Finally, the monk gave her a bowl of blessed water to drink. After that, she slowly became calm. The monk said the ritual was successfully completed. Before leaving, he warned all the neighbors standing at the door, never worship strange or evil things. If you make a promise to a spirit, you must keep it. If you break your promise, it will come back to harm you. After hearing this, Yusin and her mother looked at each other nervously, because their house also had a similar spirit doll. That doll represented Yusin's younger brother, who passed away before he was born. Yusin also had another doll that had been with her since childhood, but when she returned home, she was shocked to see that the doll was missing. At that moment, her father came home. He had lost money again. When his wife complained just a little, he started shouting angrily. Suddenly, an invisible force pushed him onto the bed. "Did you push me? Who pushed you?" "Someone clearly pushed me." Her parents began arguing loudly. Yusin was already used to their endless fights. She just wanted to take a shower and go to sleep. But the strange events of that night were not over yet. After finishing her shower, just as she was about to leave the bathroom, she saw a girl standing behind her in the mirror. Terrified, she quickly turned around, but there was no one there. She noticed a water container about half her height behind her. She thought maybe someone was hiding inside it. Gathering her courage, she opened the lid. Through the reflection in the water, she saw the same mysterious girl, hanging upside down from the ceiling, rushing toward her. The girl tried to push her into the water. Yusin struggled with all her strength, and finally managed to escape from the bathroom. Suddenly, the entire building lost power. Everything went dark. In the darkness, a hand suddenly grabbed her shoulder. She turned around in fear, but there was no one there. Frightened, she ran back toward her home. Just as she reached the door, the electricity came back, and all the strange events disappeared. Because of what happened, Wen Sao's family decided to move away that very night and never return. But what shocked Yusin even more was this. In just one night, everyone at her factory workplace found out about the incident. Her co-workers started avoiding her. A woman who always liked to bully her began spreading rumors. She said Yusin's family was unlucky. She claimed that was why her brother died before being born. She even said that was why the neighbor was possessed by a spirit. She went so far as to suggest that the spirit inside Wen Sao was actually Yusin's younger brother. Listening to all the cruel gossip, even calm and patient Yusin could not control her anger anymore. "Enough. Do you really have to make things worse for someone who is already suffering?" And someone replied coldly, "Isn't that just human nature?" When Yusin saw Hua Jie's shameless expression, her weak and quiet personality made her lower her head and give in. That night, just like always, she was the last one to leave work. But before she could even leave the factory, someone attacked her from behind. She fainted. When she woke up, she was lying inside her boss's office. Her clothes were messy. Without thinking much, Yusin understood something terrible had happened to her, and she strongly suspected her boss was responsible. As soon as she walked out of the office, she ran into the boss, who had not left yet. He was holding her glasses in his hand, and even invited her to go back inside and rest a little longer. But Yusin did not want to stay there, even for 1 second. She took her glasses and quickly left. After a short while, she noticed something shocking. Her missing doll was in the hands of the boss's daughter. Yusin asked, "Why do you have my doll?" The girl replied, "I found it in your bag." Even at such a young age, the girl not only knew how to steal, but also how to threaten someone. She said, "If you do not give me the doll, I will tell everyone about what happened tonight." But Yusin refused to be threatened. She grabbed the doll back and walked away without looking back. While waiting at the bus stop, Yusin felt angry and heartbroken. She poured out all her pain to the doll. She whispered, "Help me, Help me punish that man. As soon as she finished speaking, a large truck suddenly rushed toward her. It almost hit her. The sudden shock scared her so much that she did not even notice the doll had fallen to the ground. By the time she realized it, her mother had already pulled her away. The truck driver was also sweating in fear. His truck was very old. He never maintained it properly. Everything made noise except the horn. He should have replaced it long ago, but he could not afford a new vehicle. The next day at work, Yusin saw the boss's daughter looking at her with pride and mockery. She immediately felt that something was wrong. As expected, the little girl had told everything to Huajie, but she did not know the truth. She did not know Yusin had been attacked. So in Huajie's version of the story, Yusin became a woman who tried to get close to the boss to gain promotion and benefits. This made Yusin extremely angry. She warned Huajie, "If you continue spreading lies, I will shut your mouth." But Huajie only laughed at her. However, Yusin did not care about the mockery. She was more worried about finding her lost doll. Soon, a handsome and cheerful young man appeared in front of her. In his hand was her missing doll. His name was Shen Shu. He was the same driver who almost hit her the previous night, and he was also her classmate from primary school. Although many years had passed since they last met, Yuan found herself telling him many secrets. She even told him about the strange ghost she had seen a few days ago. To most people, her story would sound crazy, but Shen Shu chose to believe her. This deeply touched Yusin. However, her happiness did not last long. New problems appeared at home. First, her mother lost her job. Then the landlord started demanding rent. Mother and daughter felt completely helpless. Meanwhile, her gambling father lost money again. He was angry that his daughter always kept the doll with her and paid little attention to him. In his anger, he threw the doll away. Yusin shouted, "Do not throw it away. It will come back for revenge." Her father laughed and said, "Revenge? I have cut more than 10 of these things and thrown them into the sea. What revenge are you talking about?" Then he demanded money from Yusin. When she refused, he became violent toward his own daughter. He grabbed her neck with one hand and forced her to tell him her bank card password. Just as he was about to go out and gamble again, his wife, who could not tolerate it anymore, picked up the spirit doll they had worshipped for many years and threw it at him. She shouted, "This family does not need any spirit to save us anymore. We might as well die together." But the old gambler did not take her words seriously at all. He only cared about taking the bank card and leaving. But beside him, Yusin suddenly showed a terrified expression because she saw a little girl ghost hanging on her father's back. And that very night, exactly as expected, the man lost all his money again. While he was drinking to forget his sorrow, he did not notice at all. Groups of evil spirits were slowly entering the room. Then suddenly, they all rushed straight into his mouth. On the other side, Yusin had no money left because her father had taken all her savings. She had no choice but to find another way to pay the rent, so she decided to rent out the empty room in her house. To save some money on printing costs, she secretly used the factory equipment to print 12 flyers. But just when she was about to leave, the little girl ghost appeared in front of her again. She was so scared that she immediately started running. The ghost followed closely behind her. However, even though the ghost looked scary, it seemed like she did not want to hurt Yusin. It was more like she was trying to tell her that she had already taken care of her drug addict father. But Yusin did not know that. She just kept running for her life. Only when the ghost stopped chasing her did she finally breathe in relief. While Yusin was putting up flyers around the streets to find a new tenant, she never expected that the first person who would come to rent the room would be her old classmate, Shen Shu. The house was small, but for a single man like Shen Shu, it was more than enough. When Shen Shu came to see the house, he happened to meet Yusin's mother. Strangely, even though this young man was willing to help share the rent, Yusin's mother looked cold and unfriendly. She did not seem happy about his arrival at all. But Shen Shu did not care. That night, he even cooked dinner himself and invited Yukin and her mother to eat. But for some unknown reason, Yukin's mother did not even touch her chopsticks before leaving the table. Later, Shen Shu took his guitar to the rooftop and kept Yusin company while she was drying clothes. Yet even that could not stop Yusin from seeing ghosts again. This time, she saw a small ghost glowing with red light. She stepped back in fear again and again. Then suddenly, she accidentally bumped into Shen Shu's arms. Seeing his bright and energetic smile, Yukin suddenly felt safe for no clear reason. Shen Shu then told her a secret about not being afraid of ghosts. He said, "If you meet an evil ghost, you must be even more evil than the ghost." But just a few days later, Yusin realized something shocking. The scariest thing in the world is not ghosts, it is humans. Once again, she was bullied by Sister Hua. This time, Sister Hua secretly put a piece of rotten meat into her lunch. Then she recorded a video on her phone while Yusin vomited blood. She threatened to upload the video online. Lying on her bed, Yusin Yuxin could not understand why Sister Hua kept humiliating her again and again. At that moment, she deeply missed the doll her father had thrown away, because that doll was the only one who patiently listened to her feelings. But what Yuan did not expect was, her prayer came true very quickly. That same night, Sister Hua got extremely drunk. On her way home, she was suddenly knocked unconscious by the doll ghost. When she woke up, she was already at a garbage dump. Her hands and mouth had been stitched shut. She tried her best to beg for mercy, but the ghost brutally killed her with a hammer. Even more shocking, Yusin's mother was hiding nearby, watching everything. After it was over, she secretly threw Sister Hua's body into the river. The next day, Shenshu was taking a shower at home when he suddenly noticed many worms appearing in the water. Without thinking much, he knew something was wrong with the water tank, so he went alone to the rooftop and opened the lid of the tank. What he saw shocked him completely. Inside the tank lay the dead body of Yuxin's father. Yuxin's mother never imagined that the angry words she once said would actually come true. And when she started sorting through her husband's belongings, she opened the closet, and what she saw made her freeze. The doll her husband had thrown away was somehow back inside the house. But that was not the scariest part. When she pressed the talking button on the doll, a voice came out. It was her daughter's voice, and the voice was saying she wanted revenge. The name her daughter kept mentioning, Tan Guowei, was actually her factory boss. At that moment, the old mother felt a level of anger she had never felt before in her life. She decided right then and there she would get justice for her daughter with her own hands. She rushed to the factory. She locked her daughter, who was still inside, in a room. Then she shut the factory's main gate. With an axe hidden behind her back, she walked toward the boss's office. Meanwhile, Yuxin sensed something was wrong. She believed her mother was being controlled by a spirit. She quickly called Shenshu for help, but it was already too late. Her mother had entered the office. With one swing of the axe, she broke the door lock. Then she attacked the boss with everything she had. She was ready to die with him if that's what it took to get justice. But she was old. Even with an axe in her hand, she was no match for him. Within moments, she was knocked unconscious. The boss prepared to leave, but suddenly, someone hit him from behind. When he woke up, he found himself tied to a sewing machine. Standing in front of him was Yuxin, the same Yuxin who used to be shy and weak. Now she stood there expressionless. The boss immediately began begging for his life, but it was too late. Yuxin coldly pressed down on the sewing machine pedal. The boss screamed in unbearable pain. As he cried out, Yuxin lifted an iron rod and smashed it down on his head. When Shenshu arrived at the factory, he saw only one thing, the boss's dead body. And he heard Yuxin's mother crying for help from inside a water tank. He rushed to save her, but suddenly, someone kicked him into the water. He could not believe it. The person who attacked him was Yuxin. It seemed like she too was under the control of a spirit. She was not sparing anyone, not even her own mother or friend. During the struggle, Shenshu accidentally pressed the switch that locked the water tank. They were both trapped inside. Thankfully, the police arrived just in time and rescued them. During interrogation, Yuxin kept saying she killed the boss and attacked Shenshu because a ghost had controlled her. But the police had evidence. She had not only killed the boss, she had also killed Hua Jie and her own biological father. And then came the most shocking discovery. Shenshu never existed. He was never a real person. In the end, Yuxin was sent to prison. She kept shouting, "I am a girl. Why am I in a men's prison?" That was when the truth finally hit her. She was not a girl. She was actually a boy suffering from severe schizophrenia. The girl, Yuxin, was his weak personality. Shenshu was the brave, heroic side he created in his imagination to protect himself. And to punish the people who bullied him, he created the image of a vengeful female ghost. That is why his mother, when she discovered Hua Ji's death, did not report it. She even helped hide the body because the real killer was her own son. After learning the full truth, his mind completely collapsed. In the end, he cut his own wrist and ended his life. From that moment on, he no longer needed any other personalities. He believed he was finally free. And that's where today's story ends. See you in the next story.